Good morning, everybody. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation for Wednesday, September 16, 2015. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meetings and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with the policy of our parent corporation, we will public comments on the items on the following agenda after each item is presented, and any comments are received from directors, we will allow members of the public to comment on items to be voted on. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any items on today's agenda. Hearing none, we will then move into the meeting as itself, and I would ask, and please excuse us, but the foregoing have been noted for the record. May I now have a motion to conduct an executive session pursuant to paragraph D of subdivision 1 of section 105 of the New York State Open Meetings Law, which relates to discussions regarding proposed, pending, or current litigation. More specifically, to discuss the litigation regarding the canal side project. It's been moved, seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We're going to excuse ourselves, and we will be back shortly. As opposed to asking all of you to leave. Okay.
Where have you been?
Debbie, just let us know when we're back live.
You're on mute, so you gotta unmute it.
Debbie, just let us know when we're live.
Okay. Hi. You muted the room. You're back on live.
You're on the web, everything's going, they can go? Okay.
I'd like to entertain a motion to move out of executive session. So moved. Second, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Now we will ask Mr. Golick. Where's Mr. Golick? To present the first item on the agenda, which is for legal services, authorization to amend a contract, legal services with Phillips Lytle.
Yep, we have an existing contract with Phillips Lytle. We're asking the board to amend that to increase the amount, additional $900,000 in the retainer agreement.
Thank you. I have entertain a motion to move. So move. Second. I'll second it. I guess I can. Right. As long as you don't move. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The expansions.
I'm abstaining.
Thank you. Okay, Tom, let's talk about a children's museum.
Yes, another exciting day in Canal history. This has been a long project, a long time in the works, and we're just thrilled today to talk about it. Back in 2010, we did a cultural master plan, which was approved by the board of directors in 2012. 2012, we advertised for the museum operator. May of 2012, the board of directors authorized the corporation to designate Explore and More Children's Museum as the museum operator and authorized the corporation to enter into a contract with Explore and More. October 9, 2013, the board of directors authorized the corporation to accept the museum's master plan and pre-campaign capital feasibility study and enter a non-binding MOU at that point in time. Between 2013 and 14, we looked at some other sites and some other venues. And today, though, we're here to talk about the confirmation of where we are and the mutual commitment to the Children's Museum project. ECHBC and Explore More have developed a set of terms that will govern a binding agreement for the development of the project. So we're absolutely thrilled to be here today. It's been a long time coming, but it's something that we're very proud of, and it just adds to the value of Canalside. I would ask those of us to look at the term sheet. I can talk through a couple of the issues on the term sheet. So the term sheet is what we from ECHDC has worked with in terms of exploring more folks, and we've basically identified the site, and I think everybody knows where the site is. We've identified the size of the building, we've identified the project, we've identified our contribution, which would be $9 million. We've identified the contribution from exploring more. We've identified the terms. So we're moving forward as partners. Exploring More has a big stake in this project. They're adding to the corn shell in terms of cost. They're adding to it in terms of fit out. They're adding to it in terms of programming, and adding to it in terms of general value. Exploring More has been with us for a number of years down at Canal Side, bringing fun, bringing excitement, bringing vitality to the youth and the next generation. So there can be nothing better for us than to have Exploring More as part of the team. So the term sheet outlines what we're going to do, and basically it just says, from a good faith standpoint, we're going to negotiate a binding agreement. So with all that said, from a requested action standpoint, the directors are requested to authorize the corporation to enter into all necessary agreements for development for a children's museum at Canal Side in accordance with the terms contained in these materials. The recommendation based on the foregoing, I recommend that the directors authorize approval of the requested actions.
Any questions or comments from any directors?
Can I just comment? Tom, thanks for the report. I see that our friends from Exploring More are in the room. This, as Tom indicated, really is an exciting day for Canal Side. Another great announcement about moving forward and activating that odd block site. To our friends from Exploring More, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your commitment to this project. There were some bumps in the road, but this is going to be just a fantastic new addition to all that's been done on the Buffalo waterfront. And I, for one, am looking forward to bringing my grandchildren, by the way, message to my kids, take your time, to museum and hundreds of thousands of other Western New Yorkers and visitors from afar will enjoy this long into the future.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone else? Would anyone from the public like to make a comment? It's your chance.
Thank you.
Well, before we vote on it, I would like to also thank some people that aren't in the room that really started this 5 years ago. My predecessor, Jordy Levy, as chairman, and especially Maureen Hurley from Rich Products, who really was driving the whole process. These things take time. I want to commend Exploring More for being patient with us. We sort of threw them a couple curves every once in a while, and every time they get up and they are able to get the ball out of the infield and stay on base and stay in play. And we're delighted with this. This will really drive some exciting activity, continue to drive the exciting activity at Canal Side. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All opposed? Carried. Thank you. Congratulations. What I would like to do is ask the board members to turn to the document that was distributed to them on our blueprint for the Outer Harbor before we discuss it and then formally receive and file it. I do want to thank some people that have really worked extremely hard on this, starting with our folks from Empire State Development, with Kevin Hansen. Kevin, you're here somewhere. I know you're here. Thank you. And then Angela, for all the work that you've been doing on this, and all the staff at Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation and our colleagues at Perkins and Will. The advisory committee, it's in the program here. There were 9 people that worked very tirelessly to get this to this point, and especially to the mayor and his entire staff for the partnership going forward that will be so critical to seeing this stay within the public venue and purview. But most importantly, I want to thank the public. Many of you are here today who have been able to really let us do what the governor asked us to do and back in September of 13, when he came to Buffalo and said he has a vision for our waterfront and he wanted us to engage in a very robust public conversation. Some of those conversations were somewhat spirited, but that's what is so unique about this community. We welcome that opportunity to have those discussions, and the blueprint that you will be reading about, and we will see that everyone gets copies of it before you leave, is we'll continue that public dialogue and really continue to do three things. One, it will continue the momentum on the Inner Harbor and the success that we've seen. It will allow us to continue through partnership with the mayor, and I'll let him explain that partnership to us and to the public, and continue to be a public process. And we also have obtained $5 million in the Buffalo Pavilion in order to do some improvements on the Outer Harbor starting as soon as possible in order to really continue the access and to the public that has been so desired, and we've seen the success of it in the past year. So with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you very much, Chairman Joya. Like you, I want to thank the governor for his partnership on this process and for the resources and faith and confidence that he has put in all of us and the support that he has given all of us to move our waterfront development forward. I certainly want to commend you, Mr. Chairman, and Tom D., Sam Hoyt, and the members of this board for operating a very transparent process, a process where there were many public meetings, where there were meetings with stakeholder groups. And I think this Outer Harbor blueprint is a good document for the future of the Outer Harbor. It has been a significant partnership between the City of Buffalo and the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation and the State of New York. I want to mention the members of my team that have worked diligently as part of the advisory committee. Brendan Mahaffey, the city's executive director of the Office of Strategic Planning, our former deputy mayor, Dr. Ellen Grant, our commissioner of public works, Steve Stepniak, and Francisco Guzman, an architect in the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency, for the work that they have done on this. As you know, my administration will be filing the Green Code with the Common Council on October 22nd. This has been, and it will continue to be, an open and transparent process with many, many more public meetings on this. This will allow the Outer Harbor to be considered as part of the city as a whole and not looked at as an individual entity. We will look at the full context of development together, whether it is the east side, the west side, downtown, Inner Harbor, and Outer Harbor, all in a very holistic way through the Green Code process. The city clearly, consciously waited for the Outer Harbor blueprint to be completed to file the Green Code in order to move forward with one unified review process going forward. Mr. Chairman, you mentioned that this will enable the significant work that we have done collectively at the Inner Harbor to move forward, and the city will move forward with the 2004 plan for the Inner Harbor with its parcels. As you all know, that plan calls for mixed-use development, 3 to 4 story buildings, and will recognize the history of Buffalo's waterfront. This will allow for more job creation and provide more housing for downtown's growing housing demand. So again, I applaud all of you for this collaborative process, and I think this is a very good blueprint for our Outer Harbor going forward. Thank you all very much.
Great, thank you, Mayor. Mr. County Executive?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly want to commend the members of the advisory committee, staff from Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation, staff from the mayor's office, and others who some ways took a step back based on comments that we heard not only from members of the board like myself, but from the general public, to ensure that what this organization does as, in some ways, the holders of this land are doing what's in the best interest of our community. So I remind everybody when we talk about our parkland, we say we not only maintain it for today, but we hold it in the public trust for the people of the future. And we have to think of the same thing with regards to the Outer Harbor. I'm very happy with the blueprint. It took into consideration things that my office, as well as myself, had discussed with regards to making an examination of particular parcels and making determinations with those parcels in the future rather than to have just one grand plan announced. And that's the plan that everyone believes is going to be in effect. I think it's important that this blueprint have been put in place because, as we all realize, the development of the Outer Harbor is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take quite a bit of time to do a full development of the Outer Harbor, and I think the public needs to be aware of that, and having a piecemeal approach in which we identify particular sectors and sections of the Outer Harbor and then allowing further discussion on those sections as we go forward is in the best interest of the community. I thank the members of the advisory committee as well as Erie Canal Harbor Development staff for taking the time out to discuss the area associated with Times Beach with our Parks Department and Environment Planning Department, and knowing that that will be an ongoing conversation as this process moves forward. I support the blueprint, and I ask other members of the board as well. I know we will not be voting for this, but I do believe that this is in the best interest of the community after the discussion that we've had during recent months.
Great, thank you, Mr. County Executive. While it's always sometimes dangerous to single out one particular individual, I'm going to do it regardless because of his hard work and effort. It started several years ago on Wilkeson Point and has continued on the Outer Harbor, and that's fellow board member David Colligan, who we sort of sent into the bull ring, if you will, and really needed to work with many of the stakeholders to try and get to the point where we are today. So, David, I think your number one thank you on behalf of Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation, and more importantly, thank you on behalf of the community for your continued effort and understanding and working with these stakeholders and interest groups that was at times not the easiest, but obviously I would hope you would say that it is rewarding as it is for us today. So any comment you would like to add, we would welcome.
Well, Robert, thank you for those kind words. I think I'm just doing what a board member is supposed to do.
What we get paid for?
Yeah, well, we don't get paid for it, right? So I will say that we were fortunate that the people that were on the Outer Harbor Committee a few years back when we did Wilkeson Point were all willing to serve again. Most of them came to the meetings. We had a series of 3 meetings with stakeholders because when we realized we were moving to a lighter, quicker, cheaper alternative on the Outer Harbor, they all stepped forward, and on page 29 of the materials that are being handed out, there's a picture of some of the features that will be installed as part of the $5 million the governor has given us to use for lighter, quicker, cheaper, some of which is mountain bikes, trails, public overlooks. There's going to be a trolley on the Outer Harbor. It's all tied into the Niagara River Greenway for the first time ever in the map. So it's really very exciting to be in Buffalo right now. I'm fortunate to be able to go to the committee meetings where the public is telling us what they want, and we are fortunate enough to take the public's ideas and put them into the plan that we're working with. So I'm quite excited, and I really would give the public all the credit in the world for these ideas.
Well, great, thank you. And on behalf of Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation, we're enthusiastically receiving this report that really represents a community effort and all the efforts over the years that for one of the few times in this community that all those working are working together for the betterment of this community. So we thank you. Mr. D, President's report.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. To echo off of what David just said, very exciting time to be in Buffalo. I mean, nothing could be truer. We had a great summer at Canalside. I'd say our best ever. Our events were 25 to 50% better at all levels. We had a bike ferry, a new bike ferry that had 48,000 plus users. We had paddle boats, something new to the historically lined canal, 16,000 users, and the list goes on. Over the summer, we had some major developments, Harbor Center fully opening, the high pedestrian traffic at the yacht block and the historically aligned canals, bringing more traffic and more of the public to the enjoyable and educational opportunities at Canal Side. So it's quite a compliment. That space was quite a compliment to the Central Wharf, the Central Wharf area. So we're thrilled by Buffalo's huge response to the events at Canal Side, and we're looking forward to even more excitement in days and seasons to come. The first week of October, we plan to drain the canals and start making ice. So the ice will open 1 month sooner than last year. So that's a big thing for us. We had a great season last year. It's going to be better this year. Stay tuned for Halloween activities, including a haunted photo booth at the yacht block. Outer Harbor, we listened today about this, the blueprint, which is great, and great connectivity via the Queen City Ferry along with the Ohio Street corridor. I mean, what a connection, what a coordinated effort with the city of Buffalo, an unbelievable synergy at Ohio Street. Riverworks is a great operation. There's 3 construction projects on Ohio Street right now. So from a synergistic standpoint, we are just absolutely booming. And we continue. We design and we have construction. So the design, we're talking now with Exploremar about moving into the design phase. Construction, we have extension to the Central Wharf. So in about a week, we'll be shutting down that side. Then by next season, when we open up, you're going to see something new and improved, which is always our goal. The grain elevator lighting, that's a work in process. That we'll be making an announcement on opening that soon as well. And First Buffalo Marina across the way. When we get off the water taxi next year, you're going to look and see new and improved opportunities for the public. So in closing, as per our expectations, it turned out to be an incredible summer at Canal Side. I'd say stay tuned for fall activities. View our Facebook page, view canalsidebuffalo.com. Get ready for an unbelievable winter, opening early. So we can't wait. It'll be a real treat for the expats who are visiting. We're going to want to move home after they see all the changes. So we appreciate your response so far and hope you continue to enjoy the site into the changing seasons. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Second. All in favor?
Aye.